Alright, so I have finished Mob Psycho 100 Season 1. I had initially just planned to watch like the first couple episodes, the first like introduction kind of arc and give you like a first impressions. Went out the window because I binged this entire thing in one sitting. Let me tell you what I knew going in about Mob Psycho 100. The name was Mob Psycho. I didn't know about the 100 part. I did not know it had psychics. I assumed it was about a serial killer, like someone psychotic, I guess. Sociopaths, maybe? That's all I got. Why I didn't start this earlier, if that's what I thought, I don't know. But besides the point, I knew nothing going in. This is possibly one of my new favorite animes. It's in the top 10. I just don't know what's getting dropped from it. And I have a new favorite character to add to my favorites list because, by God, this anime is absolutely incredible, and the comment section tells me it gets better. I've only finished season 1. I don't know how it's getting better. I feel like it's peaked, but okay, I'm all in. I'm 1000% in. I love this series. Quick little spoiler free, and then we're talking specifics because the themes and the characters are fantastic. My darling boys, sweet angels, loves them. All right, so this starts out with what feels like almost like a coming-of-age simple story. You have a psychic who, I believe they're called espers in this series, and he's just kind of socially awkward. His psychic powers are beyond powerful, overpowered as hell, and overpowered done right. But really, he doesn't use it on people, and with his psychic abilities, without that, really, he's very socially awkward. He doesn't understand social situations. He's not the smartest. He's not the most athletic. So he's just trying to get by day to day, and he just happens to be a psychic. And he's running into different situations, different people kind of taking advantage of him and his powers, and it's going from there. And I'm enjoying it. I see elements that I feel will get developed upon in the early episodes. But stupid past Jessica is just going, I'm not sure how I feel about this. Because personal issue, I hate any setting that's taking place in a school. For whatever reason, a school setting, you're starting off on the wrong foot with me. I do not like a school setting, no matter how mild of a plot point it is. If it's there, I don't like it for some reason. And like it's a bunch of middle schoolers, and they keep saying this is a middle school, or we have a middle school gang going on. And I'm like, why do so many middle schools have gangs? How old are middle schoolers? What are they, 7? And no, it's what? 12 to 14. That's middle school. I don't use that, okay? But Mob, I think he's like 14. So I'm like, maybe it's just a little young for the kids, and maybe if we were later in teenagers or adults, I'd be more connected. No, past Jessica's an idiot. A complete idiot. The fact that they are children is extremely important to the plot and the themes and everything with this series. This series is flawless, and I can't even. It is wonderful. The biggest focus in terms of themes are just because you have something that makes you special, whether that's psychic abilities, a talent, a skill, or a strength, does not make you better than anyone else, and everyone is special in different ways. Then there's the idea of not taking advantage of others. Don't, like, different types of manipulation, control, and, like, swindling and stuff like that, and the dangers it causes, and again, dangers of taking advantage of other people and it not being worth it. The ideas of bettering oneself and change. People can definitely change, and your ideals. Oh my God, the themes in this one. It sounds generic as hell, but it's executed so well. Talking about the characters, my favorite easily in this series being Reigen. He is absolutely fantastic. I love this man from beginning to end, and he just gets better and better every single time he shows up. So introduction, he is like a calm man, self-proclaimed greatest psychic in the world, when really he has 0 psychic powers, and he's just like swindling people and being charismatic as hell, but he's never actually hurting anybody. That's the main thing there. Listen, I love a good liar. When a character is confident and lying and manipulating, gets his own way, and is out for number 1, I love that character. But Reigen takes it a step further, that he knows that as he's like working his way up to the top, he's doing it the right way. He's never hurting anybody, and he's very, very protective of those in his care. That is like all my buzzwords when it comes to a character. We'll go deeper into him in a minute. Then you have Mob. That's a nickname. His real name, I think it's Shige, something like that. We're just gonna stick with Mob. I love this boy so very much. Darling angel, has done nothing wrong in his entire life. So he is overpowered as hell. Like, the extreme overpowered, and I love every second of it. Nothing can touch him, but he feels so self-conscious that he is nothing without these powers, his psychic abilities, and, like, he's not that the smartest. He's very difficult with understanding social cues, and he's not athletic, and all he wants is to impress this girl he likes, but she's not impressed by his psychic powers. And it's him trying to better himself and not rely on his psychic abilities, and the inner conflict that he has, because he is also afraid of his abilities and he's repressing some of them, but when his emotions get too high and it's building and building, just waiting to be unleashed, and his fear of losing control and hurting somebody, specifically the people he cares about, he is such an amazing character, and he is the catalyst for so much change of this series. Just how he impacts those around him. I love this boy. And unironically, probably like in third place, that being said, I do like some of the other characters that Mob interacts with, specifically his little brother and his rival. But in like third place, I gotta give it to the Gym Bros, the Body Improvement Club. I love this group more than anything. They are fantastic. They are wholesome. They are sweet. All they care about is exercise and training and bettering themselves and helping others better themselves. There's never any belittling. There's never any mocking or making fun. It's like, you want to do better. You want to train. You can exercise with us. We will love you for it and support you all the way from wherever you start and every step you take after that. I love them so much. All right, so wrapping up spoiler-free, Mob Psycho 100 is apparently about psychics, specifically Mob. He's an Esper. He's got a countdown going on, or count up. It starts at 0, goes up to 100. When it hits 100, something bad can happen. Very powerful. There's evil spirits. There's a organization that's out for world domination, and there are amazing characters, and I love this series. Let's start with why I love these themes, and even right from the very beginning, how it introduces these themes expertly. So the very first scene is, I'm assuming it's Mob, going full like planetary destruction against a bunch of enemies. And you see it's not a timer, it's a counter going up, slowly increasing. And when it hits 100, devastation, explosion. And then we cut to the main thing. And throughout the episode, you see a counter going up. And it's just like percentage until mob explosion. So when it hits by like 50, I'm like, oh god, this is counting up really quick. And I'm anxious for when it hits 100 because I don't know what's going to happen. And what it is Mob repressing those emotions, not knowing how to regulate them. And when his emotions overwhelm him, you get to that 100 and it's unleashed. Not necessarily planetary destruction to destroy the city, which is kind of what I feared. I feared when he really lost control, it destroy everything. But it's really just the opponent he's after is this burst of power and the energy. Like, I'm pretty sure that he's been repressing because he's scared of his own power. And I love that because I was anxious because I didn't know what would happen the very first time it hit 100. And then every single time after that, I'm waiting for it to hit 100 because the action is incredible. But what I also love is that during the first episode, I think it's a good 7 or 8 minutes before we're even introduced to Mob. It starts off with Reigen, who, again, my favorite. Charismatic as hell, personality, stealing the show 1000%. And he is talking to this couple, and he's convinced them that he can exorcise this evil spirit. You gotta pay him first. And he goes there, and when it's revealed to be an actual evil spirit, he just calls up Mob and so casually strolls on in. Like, we're a good 7-8 minutes into the episode yet, and we haven't even seen our main character because Reigen steals the show. And it's also focusing on how Reigen is kind of taking advantage of him for his powers, getting him to do all the actual hard work and claiming Reigen is training him and has all this other power that he really doesn't have. I really love Reigen because while he is like, he's taken advantage of Mob to an extent, using him for his powers, but he's also still taking on clients for his own, but ones who don't actually need psychic help. So it's like, here's massage therapy, aromatherapy, I'm going to do photo editing, and he is helping people when he can. So he's never like conning someone out of all their money. So he is a good guy, and he is helping people. And he's giving Mob really good advice. So he's saying, like, people with special abilities like ours have to adhere to this moral code because you can't You can be confident in your abilities, but if you think you're special, if you use it to take advantage of others, you can hurt people. Like, knives are a very good tool. They can be used to cook and aid and help people, but you can always use it to hurt somebody. A knife can also be a weapon. So with powers like ours, we must know never to use it on people, because you don't point knives at people. And that's a philosophy that he's ingraining on Mob, to never use his abilities on people. And it's treated as a joke at first, because when you realize Reigen's the one saying this, he got no powers. What is he talking about having special abilities and a moral ethics and all this? Especially when we know he's a con man. What kind of ethics could he possibly have? I was such an idiot, because I'm thinking that Mob's powers, psychic powers, are above that of Reigen's. But no, he even said in that monologue, being book smart, talking, athletic abilities, singing, psychic abilities, these are all just different skills, and neither one is more valuable than the other. I'm putting Mob's skills over that of Reigen's. Reigen's are just as important as Mob's skills, and of course he has to follow a certain type of ethics, because if he doesn't, he'd probably take over the world, because he can just talk to somebody and get them to do whatever he wants. It's wonderful and hilarious. And again, it was treated as a joke kind of when it was first talked about, but it's very much true and echoes the themes of this show. Let's just talk about it now, because I can't wait till the end. The end of this season basically is Reigen saving the day. So he shows up to a building that's got an evil organization bent on world domination that has kidnapped the kids. And he shows up, walks to the door, sees all the subordinates. They're probably like, I'm pretty sure they're threatening him with guns probably. And he's just convinced them accidentally that he is the leader of this organization. Convinces them what they're doing is wrong. That just because they've been given orders doesn't mean that they shouldn't think for themselves and have to decide what is right. Berates them for kidnapping children and convinces them to turn a leaf and go be better people. And he is wonderful. He brought that organization to a halt, that division of it anyway, just by showing up, being his charismatic self, threatening the adults for threatening kids, and 100% saves the day. More than that, when Mob reveals to him that he had been using his powers on people because he had no choice, his brother had been kidnapped, and he felt he had no other choice but to fight back and to save his little brother. Does Reigen berate him for breaking the one rule he gave him? No. He says, you poor sweet boy, you must have been pushed to the edge to feel that you had no other choice to do that. Turns to the adults and say, what the hell have you been doing to my student? You're going to answer to me now. I love Reigen so very much. And then you also have the focus of this other club who is also trying to take advantage of Mob. So they are the telekinetic whatever club. And they really just want to slack off in this room playing video games, eating snacks, and wanting to relax. And in all fairness, they claim that as middle schoolers, this will be the only time where they're not completely focused and they have any free time to spend on just relaxing and not studying and working hard and anything like that. So they should be allowed to have this time to goof off and not have to worry about the stress that's going to come later in life. And I'm all for that, but they have lost one of their members and they don't have enough people to keep the club going. So they are trying to recruit Mob so they don't get shut down. And so they are just kind of using him for a body, and Reigen's using him for his powers, and he just really doesn't care. So the group that's trying to take over their room, or will take it if they lose their ability to stay a club, is the Body Improvement Club, as just a bunch of athletes. So what does Mob do? He just wants to be popular because he wants to impress his crush, so he joins the bodybuilders or body improvement club. The telekinesis, whatever club loses their spot, and he joins them, and it's just a joke, like he can't keep up. But he's doing better every single time. He's running further. He's not quite as exhausted. He passes out later. And he's just working so hard at improving himself, and I'm so proud of my boy. And the Body Improvement Club are fine with them still using the room because they just need it as a spot to store their exercise equipment, so they get to still use the room. And it's wonderful. So in conclusion there, like the Body Improvement Club, best group, love them, sweethearts, love them all. Now, when Mob is kidnapped by enemy gangs of a different middle school, whatever, that was orchestrated by a different gang leader. Why are there so many gang leaders in middle school? This doesn't make sense to me. They immediately ride up on that school, venging angels being like, you have our boy, we're coming to get him. And they easily take down the other group of middle schoolers. It does not sound that impressive when I keep calling them middle schoolers. But that's when Teru shows up. I love him so very much. This is Mob, initially his rival. He is also has psychic powers, so uses that to take down the Body Improvement Club. My sweet boys, they're okay. They are okay. And the next theme of this, of again, really emphasis on just because you have psychic powers or any kind of ability does not make you special or better than anyone else. But he believes it does. He believes his psychic abilities makes him superior to everyone else. He uses them on himself to make him faster, to make him more cool, to take down those who bully him. He is popular, charismatic. He's everything that Mob is not. And when he's fighting and he realizes Mob also has psychic powers, he realizes he is not unique. And Mob's like, to me, you are just like anybody else. And he hates that. And Mob rightfully calls him out saying, you hate me because we are the same. Not because we have psychic powers, but because you feel that you are nothing. You don't actually have self-confidence, and you believe that if you were to lose your psychic powers, then you have nothing left, and you can't face that emptiness. And my God, my boy. Now, this is 100% a fight that has clashing ideologies. Oh, I wish other series could take a note from this to show what an actual battle of clashing ideologies looks like, because it's 100% this. Teru is doing everything he can to try to get Mob to fight back, to break his one moral code and use his powers on another person. And Mob refuses. He will not break that ideology. He will not disobey his master's rule. He will never fight against somebody else. He knows the dangers and the damage that it can do to somebody. He's accidentally hurt people in the past, and he will not do it again. To the point that Teru is choking him out, and still Mob refuses to use his powers on him. He will only defend. And then he like throws this weak little punch, and it barely even it doesn't do anything. It barely taps him in the cheek, and he's about to pass out. And Teru's just like, come on, you just started like this exercising routine. You can't change that quick. So you have to rely on your powers. You have nothing else. But still Mob chooses to rely on his own physical strength, which is non-existent. Those little punches are not doing anything. And he goes right up until he passes out, still refusing to give in and break his ideology. But when he passes out, we go into the question mark mode. We don't know what this is. It's a different person. It's not Mob. Takes over. Full cosmic power. Destroys. Teru gets like naked. He's been balled because of a different incident and thrown up into the atmosphere as he understands what true power is and how weak he is compared to Mob and how much Mob was really holding back to not hurt him. And he has a full ideology change as he realizes that so long as he views himself as special, he would never amount or never beat Mob. And he then uses that newfound knowledge to help others. He recognizes it in Ritsu, Mob's little brother, who eventually awakens his own psychic powers, sees him going down the same path and reaches out to help him and also get Mob to help him. And then when they go after Claw, evil organization, he just looks at these overpowered characters as like, so long as you feel that you are special, you will never defeat Mob. You don't understand what he is capable of. All right, let's talk about Ritsu. Darling, angel, sweet boy, has done nothing wrong in his entire life. So he goes through a lot of emotional stress at school and framing of somebody, and eventually all that resentment that he has felt towards his brother for his brother having psychic powers starts to build. And again, emotional stuff's going on. He awakens his own psychic abilities, also with the help of Dimple, a former evil spirit turned friend who also wants to become a god, to help him regulate and control that psychic power until he can use it on his own. And he goes down this path of feeling that he has so much power. Teru humbles him, and eventually it is revealed how he was acting like this sweet little brother that cared for Mob, and he does, but he resents him, whereas Mob is so adamant. He loves his little brother, saying like, you have so much that I wish I had. You understand people, you're popular, you're social, you're smart. He praises him so often for his intelligence. But all Ritsu feels is inadequate towards Mob because Mob is literally all powerful, and he feels that he's entitled to psychic powers as well because he's his brother. Why wouldn't he have psychic powers? So when they're unlocked, he uses them on people. He starts fighting the other middle. Why do middle schools have gangs? It feels wrong. But he is obliterating this small army of middle schoolers. Again, they are children. They are like your babies. Why are you fighting? And he talks about how he's always been afraid of Mob after that one time that he lost his powers and he realizes the damage that he can do. He doesn't feel like he can even fight with Mob as brothers because of all this power that he has. So when he sees Mob go to these bullies that have been knocked unconscious, nearly unconscious in the alley, Mob goes and apologizes on his behalf, grovels on his hands and knees, begging for forgiveness on his little brother's behalf. He's like, oh, bullies, I'm so sorry that my little brother beat you all up. Please forgive him. I'm sorry this happened. And to see him humbling himself and groveling, even though he has so much power for his little brother's behalf, it really gets to Ritsu. And then you have Clash showing up to ruin the moment as he comes to kidnap him. And apparently, Mob has a limit. He will not use his powers on other people unless you go after his little brother. Because that clock starts ticking up. We get to 100. Full out. Mob is slaughtering this man. But he ends up getting knocked unconscious and his little brother taken. Cue Teru coming in, wanting to help, and he explains that Claw, evil organization, bent on taking over the world. They are now my favorite organization named Claw right before, I think they've topped Inspector Gadget. Love this group. I can't wait to see more from them. And Mob, the sweet, basically pacifist, darling, angel, done nothing wrong in his entire life, turns to Teru and is like, they have my little brother, I'm going to go get them. Teru's just like, listen, do you have a death wish? Nope. Then I need you to calm down and think. I think I can win. And he is correct, because he's going to march in that building and just slaughter everyone between him and his little brother. And that is a damn good plan. It's what they do, and it works. So first, they have to figure out where Claw is. They go to this awakening lab that had helped Ritsu awaken his powers, where they find someone unconscious, wake him up. I love Teru just levitating Mob, and he's just like, what are you doing? It's like introducing ourselves. Because they have more psychic powers than anyone in this lab could ever hope to achieve. And then the organization guy from Claw shows up, bent on torturing them and kidnapping them and bring them back to Claw because they now know about their psychic powers. Yeah, they're basically waterboarding him up and down, levitating, bucket of water. It's like, you're going to tell us what we need to know. Where is Claw located? Give us the location. And off they go to get Ritsu back. Now, Ritsu, darling angel, does not need his psychic powers to be powerful. He is powerful, not quite to the extent of Mob and Teru, but he has a lot of strength, but that's not what saves him. He is a fantastic character because of how he can talk to people, how he can take advantage of situations, and just figure things out. So with these weak members of the Awakened Lab, who barely have any psychic powers, he uses their skills to bust out of their prison cell, and then he uses his own powers to take out the guards, and they continue along their path. I love him. He's gone through so much growth in just like 2 or 3 episodes. From resentment to his brother, to wanting to overpass him, to realizing how much his brother loves him, and he loves his brother as well, to realizing his own strength and worth outside of psychic abilities, to honing psychic abilities, to going off and getting kidnapped and taking down an evil organization. I love him. Let's just talk about one of the bullies real quick. So the reason that Teru and Mob had been fighting is because it was set up by this bully Tenga, who wanted the Body Improvement Club to take out Teru. Some stuff happens, obviously doesn't work, and then he ends up gets framed by Ritsu, which led to his awakening, and the student body president for stealing a bunch of recorders from the girls in class, and it's just weird, but they call him a pervert, and now he's been isolated by everyone, and he really goes through an identity crisis thinking about what he's worth, how people think about him, and how they were just waiting for an excuse to isolate him away from everyone. And then again, he's questioning his value and self-worth, so the wonderful Body Improvement Club show up. They take him under their wing, and they just slowly help build his confidence confidence, self-esteem, give him a place to belong, show him love and empathy, and hope for him to better himself. The Body Improvement Club are wonderful. Yeah, the first few episodes of the series does a real good job at setting up the characters, and it's really episodic at first. And I was looking and waiting for that narrative plot line to get me hooked, because I don't like a meandering plot. So we're introducing characters, setting up the themes and motivations. Everything is doing great. And then around 7 and 8, that's when you get to the fight at the school with Teru, the ideologies clashing, his brother's resentment and story arc there, and the building upon everything until we get to Claw. And all this is accomplished so well in, like, what, 8 episodes? It's impressive, the amount of work and character set up that we had in just those few episodes. I absolutely love the scene, too, that leading up to all this, where Mob gets taken advantage of by a bunch of con men who are trying to trick him into buying a vase, because they break the vase but blame it on Mob, and it's like, you gotta pay us all this money. And then he calls Reigen in to come help him, and Reigen's just like, oh, you broke my collarbone, hospital bills, you're yelling at me, psychological damage, you're paying for my therapy, and he racks up all this until it matches that of the vase. Like, great, we're even, peace out. He out-commands the con men, and I love it. So eventually we all go to the lab, and they're decimating everyone. They have so much power, and it's amusing as hell, because you're expecting a big epic fight. Nope, Mob's just like, use you as a pinball machine. You're going down the hallway. Get out of my way. I need to find my brother. Gets to a bunch of evil doll things, destroy them. The octopus guy that's wearing a gas mask says that I bet he's never faced someone stronger than him. He should be saying, where's my mommy? Because Mob would slaughter him. My favorite, though, is with the pyromancer who's fighting Teru, and he is blasting fire down this hallway. Everything is getting scorched, and Teru's using his ability to put a shield around him, but the heat's getting conducted inwards, and the buddy is just mocking him, saying it's only a matter of time, and you can't attack and defend at the same time. So Teru easily just switches the barrier around Buddy, so Buddy can't defend himself because he's currently attacking, and the fire is just blasting out, hitting the barrier, coming back at him, scorches him to a crisp. It's intense. It's amazing. The action in this show is incredible, whether or not we're doing with Mob when he reaches 100 or not. It is just fantastic. I also love Dimple. So that evil spirit goes up against like a monster evil spirit tamer, capturer, whatever, and tricks him into sending the evil spirits away so he could then possess him. But it doesn't work, because then he releases more evil spirits to take him down and puts him in a jar with a bunch of other evil spirits, and they're all going to eat each other and create one massive evil spirits. And we all know that when that opens, it's just going to be Dimple going, all right, I'm back, let's go. Which is what happens, but the fights have already ended, so he doesn't actually be any help. And again, the epic conclusion of Reigen showing up, convincing everyone that he's the boss, takes over the organization, and just goes to Mob and everyone's like, all right, let's go. We're getting out of here. Why were you kidnapped? Only for the actual heads of this division to show up. And he berates these adults, calling them down to the dirt, saying, how dare you attack these children? Do you have any idea what you've done to my student to push him to the point that he felt he had no choice but to use his powers on other people? I can't imagine. He can't stand up to adults. He has a real trouble expressing himself, and I'm very upset with you. So as the adult in this room, I've taken responsibility of these 3 kids that I have no legal responsibility for. I will be their guardian, and you will answer to me. So I will be the one who fights you if you must resort to juvenile violence. These set of evil adults resort to juvenile violence, to which Reigen smacks them in the head. He kicks one and sucker punches another. I'm convinced, like, psychic abilities just does not work on this man. Like, he just doesn't sense it coming at him, so it doesn't affect him. I was convinced, but apparently that's not what's going on. It gets to the point where they do end up having to fight, and they're like, Mob, you're the only one who can take these guys down. This one here can control gravity and basically make a black hole. We have no defense. You have to go all out. And Reigen is just like, no, you do not respond to those with murderous intents. It'll just hurt and corrupt you. I don't want that. We will run. He tells his student that the best course is to run. but everyone is fighting, and it's just like, they are attacking us. We can't. We need to fight back. So Mob, seeing his little brother in danger, again, that counter is going up. It hits 100, but Reigen slaps him in the face, grabs him to look at him, and is like, no, you don't understand. You don't have to. This man is a saint, and he just wants to protect these kids. I love Reigen so very much. But he snaps Mob out of the killing intent that would have decimated everyone, no doubt. And convinces him that they'll find a way to run away. And then he's attacked from behind, sliced through the back by the evil Katana Man. I go full rage. I want everyone to be burned to the ground because it's going directly against Reigen's teachings, but I do not care. He's a saint. I'm not. I want revenge. I'm out for blood. And then the episode ends. So clearly I go into the next episode, and Mob does something. Like, Mob Psycho, this series, does something so much better than full-on rage mode. Reigen stands up. Again, I'm just convinced that his psychic powers and attacks don't work on him, but that's not what's going on. For the one and only time, this series is so good, a narrator worked for me. Do you know how good you have to do something to make a narrator work for me? I hate narrators more than anything. I have never had an example that actually worked for me. The narrator in this series was not bugging me because this is a very stylistic anime. Between the action, the animation, the drawing of it, it's very stylistic. So every now and then when a narrator kind of pops in at the beginning or end, it kind of just sounds like a sports announcer hyping you up. That's all it is. Nothing is being told to me that I don't already know. It's just building the anticipation and setting the vibe and the mood. So I'm absolutely fine with it just blimping in for like a brief little second. It didn't even notice it until this point. And at this point, it's revealed that when Mob went from his like killing intent to being snapped out of it, it just went to gratitude, and all of the energy and power went to Reigen. He is now the most powerful being on the planet, as it passed 100 and went to 1,000. He is smacking everyone around. Those gravity balls popping like soap bubbles. He's knocking everybody clear across. The power he has and the power to protect everyone, because he is the adult. He will take responsibility for this. And he, again, calling these adults down to the dirt, calling them children, saying you are being juvenile, thinking about world domination. No one's going to follow you. You're nothing special. You have to get through your head. Society doesn't care about you. You can't just conquer the world and take over things. That's not how this works. It's like, I feel that I am just a regular person, a commoner, and I am more powerful than all of you, so what the hell are you? He breaks their spirit, but then sadly runs out of energy, as the main big bad is about to, he's full psychotic break, because what Reigen has said had really gotten to him. But when he goes to use the gravity thing, this little intern trainee guy shows up, who he's been bouncing around previously and taking people out. Turns out he's the actual boss's son. I can't wait to see what kind of daddy issues this man has. But he smacks the boss of this division around, knocks him out, and then says he's very disappointed in Mob for choosing to run away rather than fight. And I can't wait to see what's going to come with him. So yeah, I like season 1. The fact that people tell me it gets better, I cannot wait. This is absolutely incredible. I love Mob Psycho. It is somewhere in my top 10 favorite anime of all time. Reigen is in my top 10 favorite characters of all time. I just don't know where. And I'm so happy that I started this series. All right, that's all I got. Talk to you later. Bye.